So I got the head off the backhoe and I got disassembled to check it out. I'm gonna send it over to the machine shop that's done some work for me before. Yeah, I put a straight edge on it. It don't look bad. Head gasket, I didn't see anything that really stood out. No crack or blown out section. These are some of the injectors that came out of it. This one's been replaced at some point, and it had a. This one? These are the injector sleeves. They're pressed into the head, and let me show you the other side here where they go. They go down through here, and they're sealed up top here and sealed down at the bottom. And the water jacket is all around it. So one of them had been replaced along with this injector. It was actually wet in here too. So I couldn't really tell if they used any sealant around the top and the bottom like they should have. So that could have been my issue. I didn't really check it out as well as I should have before I tore it apart. I kind of went off what the previous owner had told me. He said it was smoking white and there's water in the oil, so I thought head gasket. Kind of felt that a liner O-ring or a cavitated liner wouldn't give the white smoke. But then I'm also wondering, he had some water in the fuel because there was no fuel cap on it. Maybe it was just steam. Maybe the injector got stuck from the water being in the fuel, and then possibly the injector freed itself up because it didn't smoke at all when I started it a few times. So I'm not really sure. Hold on. Fuck out of here! Pecking on the damn house. So I also did find that the intake wasn't sealed right on the end here on this side and over on the end on this side. So it was letting dirt into the engine too, which is not good for it. So I gotta look into getting a new injector because this was, like I said, this was seized into the injector tube, and injector tube came out with it and I just couldn't get it apart, and it actually ended up cracking the nozzle holder. And these are pretty corroded. They're just sealed up top with an O-ring to keep the dirt out, but I guess it didn't do a very good job. It was full of dirt and crap. So I gotta get 4 new injector nozzles, 1 injector. I got a head gasket kit coming. I'm gonna have them check the straightness of the head, magnaflux it, dip it, clean it all out. There's a little bit of gunk in the water jackets. And they'll check the valves on it, valve seats. And I'll put it back together and I'll run it, and hopefully that was my issue and not the stuck injector. But there's still a chance, I guess, I could have a cavitated liner or a bad O-ring. Maybe I was just chasing 2 problems. So I didn't get much done today on the backhoe. Head is still out at the machine shop. I messed around with the wiring a little bit. I need a better wiring diagram. It's a bad copy and everything's so close together it's hard to differentiate between the wires, and actually some of the lines didn't even copy. I did end up working on this throttle cable. I had to shorten it on either end. So what was wrong was, it was the right length overall. The issue was these bulkhead fittings were too far away from the end. So what I ended up doing was cutting this piece down, this sleeve, cut about an inch off of that, and then I ran a tap down this rod here. This is crimped onto the end of the cable. I ran a die, I should say. I didn't adjust it yet, that's why things are still a little loose, but ran a die down here about another 1.5 inches, and then cut the end of it off so that I could get this distance closer to the bulkhead fittings on this cable. And now I have full travel from idle to full throttle, whereas before I couldn't even bolt the bulkhead fittings in, either underneath or up here, and get any usable throw out of the cable. And like I said, the wiring's a mess on this. I did mess around with it a little bit, but I need a better diagram. There's a lot of the wires have the same color, and it's quite a mess. I got wire nuts under here, there's butt splices, and all kinds of other crap that shouldn't be there. So I'd like to get the fuel gauge hooked up, the oil pressure. I might just add a gauge for that instead of an idiot light. I bought new fuel filters. I'm gonna clean up this electric pump inline filter. I'm gonna replace all these hoses. I should have the head back Monday, and I guess I could try to work on putting it on this week if I get the head gasket set. I ended up buying that through eBay instead of my machine shop that I use. Also, I thought these front weights looked a little out of whack, and turns out they are. Got down here and started looking. You can see this weld here is broken, and these brackets are bent down. So this should be sitting vertical, which it's not. That's another thing I gotta take care of. I'm gonna run these tires till they pop, which probably won't take long at all. Front tires are roughly $300 for the pair, and rear tires, I think I'm gonna be into it for another $1,000, unless I find something used. I ordered 2 oil filters. Plan on heating the engine up and getting all that crappy oil out of there, and I'll change the filter, change the oil, do it again, and then I got a spare. I don't remember, I think I ordered the hydraulic filter also. I'll have to look into that. The back here, these controls, I got them pretty freed up. They stick a little bit at the end of there. But it's getting better. But I'll probably end up having leaks. This cylinder's leaking. Both bucket cylinders. I've got packing kits coming for them, so I'll repack them. I gotta do that before I can even use the machine. Threw a little bit of paint on the hood. I ended up just painting the stripe instead of putting the decal on it. But I'll go over and I'll paint the whole thing with a spray gun. That was just a rattle can. Clean it up a little bit. Alright, stay tuned for more of this video series.